Every archaeological discovery means something to someone, somewhere. But let's be real, not all of them hit the same. Some discoveries just unlock a deeper level of fascination. We're hoping this video gives you that same buzz of curiosity as we dive into some of the wildest, most mind-blowing archaeological finds that are actually real. And trust us, you don't want to miss the last one. Number 15. Prosthetic teeth in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan may be famous for its pyramids and some super mysterious things, but in 2016, archaeologists found something far more intimate and mysterious. A woman buried 1,600 years ago with a smile built from stone. Her skull was found in the Plaza of the Columns, and what set it apart wasn't just the artificial teeth, crafted from pyrite and serpentine, but her head elongated through skull shaping. That type of modification is usually associated with the Maya, not Central Mexico, raising all kinds of questions. This woman didn't just exist, she made bold choices. The prosthetic teeth are a mystery themselves, how they were fixed in her jaw, how she endured the pain, and whether they were even functional. It's likely they were decorative, chosen for shine rather than comfort. Her appearance suggests she was someone of status, someone whose look was more than aesthetic, it was identity. There were no manuals and anesthesia, just resilience and style in a civilization where form and symbolism ruled everything. Number 14. Rope-making tool from Hohlefels Cave. We tend to overlook how complex basic tools really are until you see something like this. Back in 2016, archaeologists uncovered a rope-making tool in Hohlefels Cave in southwestern Germany, and it's way older than expected, about 40,000 years old. Crafted from mammoth ivory, this prehistoric device features 4 holes of varying sizes, designed to twist plant fibers into ropes of different thicknesses. It's wild to think something so mechanically smart came from a time when humans were still figuring out the basics of survival. For years, artifacts like this were misunderstood, written off as musical relics or abstract art, but experiments proved they were actually tools. Once early humans cracked rope making, they could bind wood, build shelters, or even lash boats together. It may not have gotten the fame of the wheel, but this little ivory piece helped shape civilization. Just imagine the doors this opened for them, literally and figuratively. Number 13. Step Pyramid of Edfu. In the southern Egyptian town of Edfu, archaeologists finally excavated a structure long ignored under layers of sand and debris, a 4,600-year-old step pyramid made of sandstone and clay mortar. Unlike the more famous pyramids built for royal burials, this one had no chambers and wasn't a tomb. It's part of a group of 7 similar provincial pyramids scattered across central and southern Egypt, each located near ancient settlements, measuring roughly 43 feet in its original form, now worn down to 16.5 feet. This structure may have symbolized the pharaoh's authority in regional areas. Food offerings found nearby support that theory. Researchers suggest it was likely built during the reign of Pharaoh Huni or Sneferu, possibly before the construction of the Great Pyramid at Giza. Additional graffiti and the remains of children buried near the base point to later used during different eras. While its full purpose remains uncertain, this early pyramid stands as a symbol of centralized power, marking an era when rulers extended their influence far beyond capital cities. What do you think about it? Well, let us know. Number 12. Code of Hammurabi. Well, a long time ago, before courtrooms and attorneys, Babylonia had its own rule book, and it was no joke. Nearly 3,800 years ago, King Hammurabi commissioned a full set of laws to govern his people. Today, that stone slab, the Stele of Hammurabi, still stands as one of the earliest legal codes in history. Carved into black basalt and written in Akkadian, the 282 laws cover everything from trade disputes to personal injury, all with strict penalties. What's especially striking is its sense of justice, the idea that the strong shouldn't exploit the weak and that guilt must be proven. Sound familiar? That's because it laid the groundwork for modern legal systems. The stele was stolen around 1200 BCE by the Elamite king Shutruk Nahunte and buried for centuries until a French mining engineer found it in 1901. It now lives in the Louvre, a relic that still holds weight in courtrooms and classrooms alike. It's old, yes, but it still knows the law. Number 11. Petroglyphs of Montserrat. In 2016, a casual hike on the Caribbean island of Montserrat turned unexpectedly historic. Von Berry and Shirley Osborne spotted faint carvings on a mossy rock face, markings no one had documented before. These turned out to be Montserrat's first known petroglyphs. They're likely between 1,000 and 1,500 years old, possibly created by one of the island's earliest established cultures, not the first settlers themselves. Some of the symbols resemble figures and animals, while others are geometric, hinting at an early form of visual storytelling or ritual symbolism. Similar carvings have shown up on neighboring islands like St. Kitts and St. Vincent, though not identical enough to say they're from the same people. Dating petroglyphs is tough without context, but what's clear is that these carvings are a sign of human presence, imagination, and communication. In a place known for its natural beauty, it's a powerful reminder that long before colonizers or tourists, Montserrat had voices etched in stone. Alright guys, now let's talk about Number 10. Octopus lures of the Mariana Islands. These shell and stone artifacts found in the Mariana Islands revealed some of the oldest known octopus lures in the world. Dating back 3,500 years, these tools were crafted from cowrie shells lashed to stone sinkers with fiber cords. Octopuses are naturally drawn to cowries, making them an ideal bait substitute. The design was clever, deliberate, and apparently effective. Found on the islands of Tinian and Saipan, the lures may have been in use during the first human settlements in the region. Dr. Michael T. Carson of the University of Guam confirmed their age through radiocarbon dating. Whether the technique originated locally or was carried from a previous homeland isn't yet certain, but either way, it shows a sophisticated understanding of local marine life. These tools weren't crude improvisations. They were engineered. They mark one of the earliest examples of specialized fishing gear in the Pacific, revealing both technical knowledge and the survival strategies of the ancient Chamorro people. This is amazing, isn't it? Number 9. 35,000-year-old bird carving. During a 2006 dig in the Dordogne region of France, archaeologists came across a flint flake with a carving so clean it could pass as modern, except it's about 35,000 years old. The bird engraving on it stands out because it's figurative, not just decorative patterns or vague shapes. It's naturalistic, even expressive, which is rare for art from the Aurignacian period. Other carvings at the site were found, but none had the same clarity or realism. What's also wild is that this was the first figurative artwork ever found in an open-air Aurignacian site, as most examples from this period come from caves. People joked about it looking like the Twitter logo, but the timing is pure coincidence. It made headlines in 2003, Twitter launched in 2006, and the rest is meme history. Still, there's no denying this ancient carving carried symbolic weight for its creators. Whether it marked territory, meant something spiritual, or was simply artistic, nobody really knows. Number 8. Golden crucifix found in Denmark. In 2016, Dennis Holm took his metal detector out in Anslev, Denmark, and came home with something that made national headlines, a tiny gold crucifix that may rewrite Denmark's religious timeline. Dating back to the early 10th century, it predates the famous Jelling stones, which were believed to be Denmark's first major Christian markers by decades. That crucifix didn't come from a missionary kit either. It's ornate, handcrafted, and likely worn by someone local. Macon Ritter, curator at the Ostfinns Museum, confirmed its age and called it a turning point in understanding how Christianity spread across the region. Until then, scholars assumed Christianity only took hold after King Harald Bluetooth's official conversion in 965 CE. But this little gold piece suggests the faith was already known and maybe even practiced by some Danes well before that. It's a reminder that religion doesn't always follow royal timelines. Sometimes it arrives quietly, carried on the neck of someone who believed before it was popular. Number 7. Roman coin hoard in Tamars. While fixing a busted water pipe in Tamars, Spain, workers unearthed a coin hoard so massive it could have bankrolled an empire. Literally. We're talking about 1,300 pounds of bronze Roman coins from around 1,800 years ago, many still gleaming with a thin layer of silver. That detail alone tells us they were never meant for everyday hands. They probably belonged to a Roman treasury or were set aside for military or government payroll. The find wasn't random either. These coins were likely grouped right after minting, then somehow forgotten or buried deliberately. Ana Navarro, head of Seville's Archaeological Museum, says the condition of the coins is so pristine it's almost like opening a vault frozen in time. Even she couldn't put a definitive price on the collection, only that it's worth several million euros at least. As for why they were buried and never touched again, that part's still locked away with the dirt they came from. Number 6. Prehistoric settlement at Lake Lucerne. During pipeline construction in 2021 near Lake Lucerne, Switzerland, workers made a quiet but significant discovery: 30 wooden stakes submerged beneath the lake's surface. Further investigation confirmed that these timbers once supported stilt houses built along the shoreline roughly 3,000 years ago. That single find has shifted the known timeline of Lucerne's history by nearly 2 millennia. Previously, historians believe the area was first settled around the 10th century. These remnants say otherwise. Although little remains beyond some eroded pottery and wooden fragments, the rising lake levels nearly 20 feet since the 15th century likely erased most of what once stood here. Dams, mills, and industrial development in later centuries only sped up the loss. Still, these stakes act like timestamps, anchoring human presence to a much older period. It's not the size of the discovery that matters, it's what it corrects. Sometimes it just takes a few buried beams to flip the entire story of a city's beginnings. Number 5. Oldest pottery in the world. History isn't set in stone, and this find proves it. In 2012, fragments of pottery uncovered in Xianrendong Cave, Jiangxi Province, rewrote the global timeline of ceramics. Radiocarbon dating placed these vessels at 20,000 years old, pushing pottery's invention deep into the Paleolithic, 10,000 years before settled agriculture even began. These early humans weren't farmers, they were nomadic hunter-gatherers, yet they crafted clay pots sturdy enough to last millennia. Scorch marks suggest these vessels were used for cooking, possibly for boiling roots or meats, an efficient way to extract nutrients and soften tough foods during the last ice age. The craftsmanship doesn't follow typical later techniques, making their origin even more curious. How or why they developed this technology remains unclear, but the presence of these fragments signals an unexpected level of ingenuity. Rather than being a byproduct of farming, pottery may have served its own early purpose, one that had nothing to do with storing grain. The site challenges long-held assumptions about where, when, and why pottery began. Number 4. Must Farm Bronze Age Settlement. The Must Farm site in Whittlesea, Cambridgeshire, is the kind of discovery archaeologists dream about. Nicknamed Britain's Pompeii, it's a Bronze Age settlement so well preserved. It feels like the past just hit pause. It started with a few wooden posts and a sword in 1999, but by 2012 the picture got bigger. 8 log boats, burned beams, entire structures, and even food still sitting inside cooking pots. What happened? Evidence points to a devastating fire, possibly accidental, just a year after the town was built. Residents fled in such a hurry, their belongings stayed untouched for nearly 3,000 years. Today, Must Farm is a rare snapshot of everyday Bronze Age life. Tools, pottery, homes, it's all there, frozen mid-chapter. It's not just about what they left behind, it's about what we get to learn from it. In an era where even a selfie doesn't last long, Must Farm reminds us that some stories refuse to fade. Alright, now let's head over to number 3. Ancient Curry and OCEO. Archaeological work in southern Vietnam found evidence of curry preparation dating back nearly 2,000 years. At the site of OCEO, a key trading port of the ancient Funan Kingdom, researchers found a dozen stone grinding tools still holding microscopic plant remains. Among them were turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and fingerroot, spices typically associated with Indian cuisine. Nutmeg seeds remained aromatic even after centuries underground. Starch analysis confirmed extensive grinding, resembling the way modern curry powders are prepared. The tools themselves are of South Asian design, suggesting that curry-making methods likely arrived via trade or migration. Dr. Pisha Chun Hung of the Australian National University led the research, emphasizing how this finding links culinary practices across continents. Rather than being a local invention, these dishes seem to have been introduced through global spice networks already in motion at the time. What survives isn't just the recipe, it's a direct record of cultural connection, showing how food moved with people long before cookbooks ever existed. Number 2. The Prosthetic carpet. This thing is just super duper beautiful. Unearthed in 1947 from a frozen burial mound in the Altai Mountains of Kazakhstan, the Prosthetic carpet holds the title of the oldest known pile carpet on Earth. Radiocarbon dating places it around 400 BCE. Its preservation owes everything to the permafrost. Locked in ice for over 2,000 years, the fabric survived with its colors still intact. Researchers from Friedrich Alexander University later uncovered the reason. Before dyeing, the wool was fermented in wheat bran and sourdough. That treatment helped the fibers absorb pigment deeply, creating hues that have lasted longer than modern synthetics. The design speaks to cultural exchange, Persian-style motifs, deer, horsemen, and griffins interwoven in a grid of lotus buds. The craftsmanship isn't just decorative, it's intentional, layered with symbolism and technique. Now housed in the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, the carpet isn't just a relic, it's living proof of textile innovation, aesthetic refinement, and the way a cold grave can keep beauty alive when time forgets everything else. Number 1. Mummified monk inside Buddha statue. A restoration project in 2015 unexpectedly led to one of the most surreal archaeological discoveries in recent memory. Inside a 1,000-year-old Buddha statue from China, specialists found the preserved remains of a monk seated in a cross-legged position. X-rays confirmed what restorers had suspected after spotting a cavity. This wasn't just a sculpture, it was a coffin in disguise. The monk's name, Lu Quan, was written on wrappings found inside, along with fragments of ancient Chinese script. Based on burial customs and known practices, experts believe Lu Quan underwent self-mummification, a deeply spiritual and physically excruciating process that involved starvation, ritualistic diets, and poison ingestion to prevent decay. His body was likely displayed openly in temples before being sealed within the statue centuries later. What began as a restoration quickly turned into a journey of spiritual devotion and extreme discipline. Today, the statue remains not just a religious symbol, but a human record of faith carried to its most intense and enduring expression. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.